Glory to God, peace on earth, goodwill to men. You feeling the peace today? So I was trying to light that second candle and it didn't want to stay up, so I was trying to melt a little bit of the bottom of the wax to help it stick, and it still didn't want to stay. I kind of thought, oh, that's how peace often is, I think. We do what we feel like we need to do to make it stick and to make it stay, and it doesn't seem to want to cooperate. Peace is a fleeting thing that seems to flee very quickly and very easily at times in storms and despair. And there have been so many instances throughout history of these moments where, looking at the celebration of Christmas, people are just a little kinder to each other, and peace breaks out between people that normally don't have peace. And these are wonderful things, and it's nice to remember those times, but we look at those quite often and we start thinking that's what peace on earth is about. That's what this is all about. And then it doesn't last, or it doesn't happen. Sometimes you don't have people quit their bickering. Sometimes Christmas makes it worse. And we can have so much fear and despair that we have no peace within ourselves. If we began looking at that manifestation of peace within and from the human heart as our goal. That's a hard place to be. You may be familiar with the song, "I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day." Bing Crosby did an awesome version of it. Casting Crowns does the best version, in my opinion. The Carpenters did it. A lot of different people have done it. What you may not realize is the lyrics to that song are over 150 years old. It's not a new song. It's actually from a poem by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. In 1861, Longfellow's wife of 18 years died in a tragic house fire. She was burned alive. And he was shaken. His peace was gone. He was filled with questions and doubt, and this isn't the way life's supposed to be. I just lost the love of my life. About the same time, the Civil War broke out. And this country that was seen as being blessed of God was in the midst of being torn apart. We talk about being divided today, but that was a literal divide, brother against brother, father against son. And he saw his country being ripped apart, and he begged his son not to go to war. Because he had already lost his wife, he did not want to lose his son. Fear just made him want to keep his family close. For a while that worked, and then his son left him a note. Said, "I have tried to resist the call, but I feel I must go." And he ran off and joined. And in November of 1963, around the time of Thanksgiving and headed towards Christmas, Longfellow received word that his son had been severely wounded in battle. And about a month later, having lost almost all and in fear of losing the rest and seeing no hope, seeing nothing, On Christmas Day, the bells rang out. And that's where we get that poem that leads to the song that we know so much. I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to men, and thought how, as the day had come, the belfries of all Christendom had rolled along the unbroken song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Till ringing, singing on its way, the world revolved from night to day, a voice, a chime, a chant sublime of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then from each black accursed mouth the cannon thundered in the south, and with the sound the carols drowned of peace on earth, goodwill to men. It was as if an earthquake rent the hearthstones of a continent and made forlorn the households born of peace on earth, goodwill to men. And in despair I bowed my head. There is no peace on earth, I said. For hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then pealed the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail. With peace on earth, goodwill to men. There's so much this year that makes people think there is no peace on earth and bow their head in despair. Tensions are high. There's a lot of divide in this country along a lot of different lines. Disease is rampant, and people have lost, and people are fearing losing, and people are feeling the effects of the curse, and our souls are longing for restoration and an end to the suffering and despair. And that is our hope, because there is peace on earth, because this is not about you being nice to your neighbor or your neighbor being nice to you. This is about the fact that God looked down on an earth filled with hatred and selfishness, where people are not kind to each other, where there is never been a period of time on this planet for very long at all where somebody wasn't trying to kill somebody else, often in mass groups. And said, they hate me, they hate one another, but I love them. And I'm not going to go to war with them. Instead, I'm going to make peace. And I'll make the sacrifice that they can't and won't make, so that they can be free. See, there is peace on earth if you want it. John Lennon had it all wrong, and he was so right. War is over if you want it. But it's not between each other, because we can't do that. But the war we have with God is over if we want it, because he made a way that we could have peace. Because he has goodwill toward men. That is awesome news. That is our hope. So in the midst of the turmoil, in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the unkindness and the discord and the selfishness, we can have peace within our hearts because we have peace with God, because Jesus came, because he died, because he rose, and he reached out with goodwill toward you and me.